Skyrim's forest can look incredible if you've got the right mods. Today I'm breaking down my top 10 tree mods on Xbox Series X and Series S, showing you how they transform the world and what they'll do to your frame rate. Hi, I'm RamNexus. I make videos looking at the technical aspects of some of my favourite console games. Welcome to another of my frame rate analysis videos. In this video you'll see a mix of screenshots and video clips comparing each mod to vanilla Skyrim. I've included frame rate test results as well, so you'll know exactly what kind of performance hit to expect. There are hundreds of tree mods to choose from. Some tweak the original trees, some replace them with all new models, and others add tons of new trees to Skyrim's landscape. My goal was to show you the mods that make a big, visible difference to the open world. So I didn't look at mods that only affect cities or mods built just for one hold. I also stayed away from all-in-one overhauls that bundle in grass and ground textures, etc. Though a couple of mods here do include changes to grass and bushes. I started with about 25 contenders and spent probably far too long trimming that list down, based on popularity, visual impact and uniqueness. I even ran a poll here on the channel to help decide between a few, so thanks to everyone who voted, but that means I've left out a lot of mods, including perhaps your favourites, so feel free to add your mod recommendation in the comments. The final list gives you a great variety: dense woods, colourful aspen, eerie pine trees and a lot more. For frame rate testing, I only had a few other mods loaded. What you see on the screen here is my full load order. If you end up looking at a few tree mods, remember to quit out of Skyrim and then restart the game for the new tree mods to take effect. For the frame rate test, I ran a straight path from the Guardian Stones to Riverwood. This is just one location within the game, so don't generalise too much, but it does allow us to compare mod performance. Without any tree mods loaded, Series X held 60 FPS for the entire length of the test. Series S had a single dip down to 55 FPS, but otherwise sat at 60. But the Series S saw the biggest drops once mods were added, so I've included a bit of extra information on screen when showing the Series S frame rate results. Series X footage was captured at 4K and Series S at 1440p. These mods are works of serious technical and artistic skill, so a huge thanks to all the mod creators featured here. Most of these mods were originally made for PC and later ported to Xbox. Some are new, updated just this year, but others are nearly a decade old, so their age can sometimes affect compatibility, so just keep that in mind. Finally, I've also added an honourable mention mod near the end. It's not a popular mod, but it completely transforms Skyrim's look. Once you've seen it, I promise you won't forget it, and you just might want to give it a try. Alright, let's do this. Number 10 on my list is Tamriel Reloaded Trees. This mod is a comprehensive tree replacer that overhauls vanilla trees with richer, more varied models and textures. The trees have bigger trunks, fuller foliage, and a more natural distribution. This is the trees only version of the mod from a series of mods by 32CM for PC back in 2015. Many of the Tamriel Reloaded mods have been ported over to Xbox. There's an all-in-one version, but I just tried the trees only mod from this series. The mod maker said their goal was a complete rework of Skyrim trees, making Tamriel less boring to explore. Well, it worked. Tamriel Reloaded changes the location of some vanilla trees and adds new species including maple, pine, cherry blossoms, cypress, weeping trees and dead trees. The tip of some branches seem low poly or low resolution textures. They seem a bit low fidelity compared to the rest of the tree. The good news is that Tamriel Reloaded trees did not generate any dips in frame rate at all. This is true for the Series X and Series S.
You won't die, it just keeps coming!
Nivik.
Number 9, Dark Ages, Trees of the North. This mod slaps a dramatic high fantasy coat of paint on Skyrim's forests. This mod completely revamped Skyrim's trees, overhauling meshes and textures to create darker, denser, and more imposing forests. This mod is part of the Dark Ages series of mods by Vexona. Vexona has set up a very slick, dedicated website for all these mods, which is worth a look, and here's the link. This mod overhauls the meshes and textures, changing the colours of pine and aspen. The pines are much larger and more lush. Pine trees now have larger trunks and more branches, giving them a fuller look. Aspen now come in many colours. Here's some good examples of great colour variations in the leaves. Aspens growing in the rift have thicker trunks, which show rich seasonal colours. There's some rich bark texture, full branches, and pine trees are lush and thick. Again, there was no impact of frame rate on the Series X, but there were a couple of dips when the mod was loaded on the Series S, as you can see here. Number 8 is the Xbox port of Skyrim Flora Overhaul, specifically the trees-only version, so no grasses, flowers or ground cover are included in this mod. There is also an HD version of this mod on Xbox with high resolution textures, but I didn't try that one, may cause FPS drops. It swaps Skyrim's vanilla trees with taller, more robust 3D meshes and textures, giving forests a denser, more mature appearance. There are 18 new tree models and improved texture for trees and other plants. The green forests appear more deep and old. The trees are much taller. There are new meshes for pines, dead pines, snowy trees and ferns. The snowy trees are much more detailed with heavy snow, and some are bent by the snow. This mod improved textures for all tree branches and barks. This mod also adds textures to dirt cliffed roots, ferns, shrubs, cabbage, juniper, leek, mountain flowers, potato, snowberry, and vines. In regards to frame rate, the Series X still maintained a stable 60 FPS. Series S dipped a couple of times, though overall the impact of the mod is minimal.
I'll kill you if I have to.
Number 7 in my list is Traverse the Ulvenwald, Trees and Forests of Skyrim. This mod overhauls Skyrim's standard trees by replacing them with over 370 new models of trees, shrubs and bushes. This is one of the largest mods on the list at 300 megabytes. Effort has gone into each biome in the game. The mod author also said they made this tree replacer to give Skyrim's forest a lore-friendly yet believable and realistic European forest feel. The trees are inspired by European woodlands from the British Isles and Scandinavia. The new models include pine, spruce, birch, oak and many others. The extra layer of snow on the pines is a nice touch. There are many additional trees in the marsh area with hanging moss, though maybe too many trees. Personal taste, I guess. The aspen are larger and fuller. There's also a change to the textures of the dead tree stumps and logs. It looks okay, but I'm not sure that needed changing. As far as frame rate goes, the Series X dropped FPS at times. This means the console is running as hard as it can, which may mean adding other mods could impact FPS further. Series S suffered under the load of Ulvenwald, averaging 51, but with regular drops below 40. Number 6 on my list is Fabled Forest with LODs with optimised 1K textures. A total forest overhaul making use of assets from the Happy Little Trees mod, which we'll talk about later, with about 45,000 new tree placements from other mods, including Traverse the Ulvenwald, which we just looked at, and Nature of the Wildlands. Fabled Forest spreads lush, dense woodland across Skyrim. There are a few different versions of Fabled Forest available on Xbox. This one uses 1K textures, not 2K, and LODs. The boggy salt marsh near Morthal does seem heavily populated with trees now. I'm not sure such closely spaced tall trees fit the mood of the marsh. As the original author says, lose yourself in lush, densely populated forests. There are tall, lush, dense forests to get lost in. The sunlight shines through the canopies, creating magnificent rays of light. The taller trees can block out the sun at times. Since the trees are taller and larger than vanilla trees, they can be seen in the middle and far distance. For frame rate, the Series X had a constant 60 FPS, but the Series S struggled a lot. This is not surprising, I guess, since the mod replaced the existing trees and added new ones with new textures, so more horsepower was needed to run the game. Trees of Aduna swaps out all vanilla Skyrim tree models with a collection assembled from many community-made mesh packs. But it also contains custom bark textures which were made from photos of real-world trees. There's also new leaf textures designed to give the feel of early spring with budding branches and a few lingering dead leaves. Just note, there's also an all-in-one version of this mod which has grass and more trees. Good alternative, interesting mix of trees here. Makes for a great change. Without the grass mod add-on, the ground cover can look a bit like lawn. Nice to see different green trees. This mod does not fill the rift with yellow, orange and red leaves. Quite a difference in some of these trees. Not sure if they all fit with the hot springs though. I like the replacement of the one tree with a bunch of smaller ones here. That spider web on the left is a nice touch. Same density, different colours and types. On the Series X, Trees of Aduna did not impact FPS, but on the Series S the game had dips.
It's a bad time to get lost, friend.
Number 4 is Lush Overhaul. This mod does not add new trees to Skyrim, or swap out tree types, or change leaf colours. Instead, Lush Overhaul adds more volume to trees, bushes and even the grass. It fills them out to look more dense, more lush. The original mod author used the word lushment to describe what was being done to the trees, which fits perfectly, and it's my new favourite word. The thicker trees at the bandit camp add a lot more atmosphere to the game. Lush Overhaul has more downloads and likes than any other mod on this list. It is the oldest mod here, but even so, it's been used about 5 times more than any other mod. green pines are the same size but are now a lot more filled in, as you can see. You can see lush overhaul adds height to the grass. The thicker trees can even be seen from a distance. These are some super fluffy snow-covered pines, love it. The bush and grass is thicker here. Lush overhaul didn't impact FPS on the Series X and only generated minor dips in the Series S.
That's all you got?
The mod with the best name on this list, number 3, Happy Little Trees, replaces the vanilla tree models and textures with higher quality, more realistic and performance-friendly alternatives, aiming to enhance the natural beauty of Skyrim's landscapes. It introduces new 3D tree models. They're more detailed and designed to have a more natural appearance than the vanilla trees. There are also new high-res textures of bark and foliage. This mod uses skinned trees, which is a different way of generating trees in the game, and it allows for a more fluid and natural branch and leaf motion in windy conditions compared to the vanilla game. This allows for individual parts of the trees to move in different directions. Framerate 60 FPS on Series X, but dipped down on the Series S, lowest 1% of 51. If you're looking to add some more variety of plants to Skyrim and keep your favourite tree mod, then Flora Additions might be the mod for you. This mod introduces a good variety of new plant species to the game world. Unlike all other mods on this list, it does not touch the trees already in the game, vanilla or modded. Plant assets are provided by Bethesda in a resource pack to modders back in December 2023 as part of patch 1130. This mod adds new plants from that resource pack into the game. The plants include willows growing on the shores of many rivers. We see some lilies around Lake Ilialta in Falkreath and Lake Honrich in Grifton. Boxwood shrubs, aloe vera and agave around the volcanic tundra in Eastmarch. Bald cypress trees in the waters around Morthal. And it warms my Australian heart to finally see a eucalypt, a gum tree, in Tamriel. We now have snow gums growing in rocky and high elevations around the reach, and it looks great. As far as frame rate goes, the frame rate test I ran found no changes in FPS with this mod installed, though few of the new plants are visible during the testing area that I used. However, during regular play on the Series S, I noticed FPS was lower in Morthal with this mod enabled, and when I tested it, it was a constant 5 FPS lower than baseline. Giants, Titans, Fabled Forest of Mythic Proportions gets an honourable mention on my list. Sure, Mythic Proportions is not for everyone, you could say it's over the top, but its impact on Skyrim's landscape can't be denied. This mod turns Skyrim's forests into colossal, dense and atmospheric labyrinths to get lost in. Mythic Proportions is a more extreme variant of the base Fabled Forest mod, which I've placed on this list at number 6. While the standard version already creates taller and more lush forests, the Mythic Proportions version significantly exaggerates this, resulting in towering canopies that block out the sun. Looking for a giant fuck-off enormous pine in the middle of your aspen forest? Boom, there you go. How about one growing right next to your home? Who cares about widowmakers dropping on your head when you walk outside? It looks great. Trees taller than the highest point in Solitude? Now that's impressive. The immense scale of the trees looks super impressive, I think. They tower over the player, making even familiar locations seem new and intimidating. The forests are now incredibly thick, isolating you, hiding familiar landmarks and making navigation more challenging and rewarding. There is noticeable tree popping as you wander the land with this mod, and it's more noticeable than some other mods, probably because the trees are so bloody big. I put this as an honourable mention as I have the main Fabled Forest mod on this list already, and I don't know, it is a little bit ridiculous, but also because of its large impact on frame rate. It had the largest hit on the Series X with FPS dropping down to 51, the lowest for any mod on this list. FPS drops on the Series S were even bigger, down to about 37. I used the 2K version for screenshots and my initial testing, but also had a look at the 1K version on the Series S to see if that helped with the frame rate. But it didn't, the result was the same. My number one favourite tree mod on Xbox is Nature of the Wildlands. The ordering of these 10 mods has changed a lot as I've been making this video, but Nature of the Wildlands has always been number one. The goal of Nature of the Wildlands was to eliminate the uniform and repetitive feel of vanilla Skyrim's forests. To achieve this, the mod introduces a huge variety of new trees, shrubs, and forest floor clutter, all created using photos of real trees to generate highly realistic textures. It is my personal favourite mod because it not only changes the look of Skyrim, but does so in a believable way. It enhances the variety of trees and includes a few technical advances missing from other mods. The number of trees and the amount of undergrowth have been dramatically increased, creating thick, immersive forests that can truly feel wild. The mod adds over 400 new trees, plants, and objects. It also replaces almost all of the game's original tree models with custom ones that are more detailed and more realistic. The 400 new models include variations of the same species by age and by health. Forests are no longer repetitive and samey. Nature increases the level of flora variety of each hold, and the difference in tree types between each hold is now more noticeable. Despite their detailed appearance, the tree models have been optimized with lower poly count to reduce draw calls, which should help to mitigate performance impact of the mod. Tree meshes have been given more accurate collision geometry as well, and this fixes the long-standing issue of arrows passing through tree trunks and appropriate impact sound effects when striking them with a weapon. The mod incorporates nav cuts as well into its tree placements. This means that NPCs and followers can properly navigate around new trees and are far less likely to get stuck. It's interesting, since collecting my first set of screenshots for this mod, it has been updated on Xbox and now includes LODs, so I thought I'd show you the benefit adding LODs to a mod has on the look of the game. Here are a couple of comparison shots. You can see the difference in the trees in the distance. Frame rate on the Series X, Nature of the Wildlands stayed very close to 60 frames a second, only dipping down to 57 at one point. Series S has significant dips down to 39. The update didn't make any difference to the frame rate results, at least in the single area I looked at. Now we've looked at my top 10, here's a quick summary of FPS scores for all tree mods on the Series X and also on the Series S. From here we can see the three mods that make the Xbox work the hardest are Ulvenwald, Fabled Forests, and Nature of the Wildlands. The mods that had the smallest impact on frame rate are Flora Overhaul, Tamriot Reloaded, and Happy Little Trees. I did look at a bunch of other tree mods before settling on this list of 10, so here's a list of some others that hit my radar when I was doing my research. Awesome, thanks for watching this video to the end. Feel free to check out my channel for other videos where I look at the technical aspects of different games. Okay, thanks for watching. Ramnexus out.